Hello everyone, we are in the general ledger setup discussion. So if you are with me last few videos, you have discussed about, about the posting period, and today I'm going to talk about another posting period, which is the deferral posting periods. So let's go to the Dynamics 365 Business Central. Now, today my topic is allow deferral posting from and allow deferral posting to views, which feels very important for the future transactions. You know what's the deferral payments and invoices? So, which means deferral means you can post transaction for the future period than the current date. So, from the general ledger setup, you can control the period which you have the post the transaction, which means the period, the date, the months. You can post the future transaction, which means if you have any provision to split throughout the period, throughout your year, you can set up the deferral template, and based on the deferral template you can split that expense or whatever thing between the time period, between the months or year. However, from these two fields you can control that allowable period for your transaction. So let's see the examples. At the moment, this deferral posting from and deferral posting two periods are empty, which means you can post the transaction as you have the posting period, which means if you have posting periods for the 2024 31st December, you can defer your transaction up to 31st December 2024. However, you can control it, but let's see what is this deferred transaction and how it works. So in order to show that, I have prepared invoice. So if I go to the invoice, you can see the invoice with the sample date of the Microsoft D365 Business Central. So according to this invoice, you can post this transaction normally, but there's a field called deferral code. In the deferral code field, I have set up deferral template. If I go to the deferral template, I'm not going to deeper level, just I'll show you how I set up that deferral template. So we have two options set up, so don't get panic once you saw this transaction. I'm planning to do separate video series for the deferral payment invoices, purchase sales invoices. So however, when I set up the deferral transaction, I have given the deferral account, which account is deferral revenue account, and just for the testing purpose. So I have given the number of periods. So let's give here. Let's select something else. That's deferring account. So let's keep this account, but I'm going to show this transaction, show this example through the purchase invoice. However, here number of periods and deferral percentage, calculation method, whether you want to split this on straight line basis or equal per period basis. In you have to share this, you have to split those transactions, which means the basis of your transaction is split throughout the periods. So days per period, likewise you have to set up. So let's go to the transaction without wasting time. So because I'm gonna do separate video series for that. So as I set up the deferral code, now I'm going to post transaction. So at the moment, my allow deferral posting from and two periods are empty, which means I can post transaction for the future. So if we get the preview posting option, you can see the 28 double entries, which means 14 debits and 14 credits. It's quite a lot, but normally when we are posting the purchase invoice, we'll get expense or that item gets debit, and the creditor, vendor gets debit. However, there's a 20th transaction. Let's see how it happened. If I click on the 28, I can see lot of double entries. So if I give you a small introduction about the first two double entries, that's my pen. Okay, if I get the first double entry, sorry, if I go up, I can see double entries like this. We have, if you can remember, we have set up a deferral account as in the deferral template. This deferral revenue account 20,400, and this invoice, my expense account is 40,500, and I wanted to split this transaction, split this value 1,200 into 12 periods. So system identified it and split it to 12 period, and what system did, first 30th June they have expense for the interest income 1,200, and then system make credit same account 1,200, because reason is you don't want to identify that expense for that period, you want to split that expense for future period. Hence that this interest income account get tallied. There's no any impact for the balance sheet from this transaction. However, your deferred revenue account get debit by 1,200, and where you got credit, guess what? Yes, you got credit your, as usual, that account payable. That's, hope you have some transaction, because that the expense account get tallied because system and user not going to identify that expense in the 30th June. They are going to identify that expense throughout the next 12 periods. So hence that, so what the system did was they identified expense for each 12 period. How they identify? As I set up in the deferral template, I need to split that straight line basis. So what system did was, does the 1,200 debit on 30th June. Now I want to split that. I want to transfer 100 rupee to my expense account each month. So what system did was, in the 1st of July, debited to interest income account 100 rupee, and which means we identify expense on beginning of the month, 1st of July, then remove that value from the deferred revenue account. This is how it happened. This 100 credit there, which means 100 from this 1,200 system credited from the deferred revenue account. And when it's come to the 1st of August, we can see again system identify 100 rupee expense and remove another 100 from the deferred revenue account, which means at the beginning of the period, which means at the point of we posting this transaction, we identify 1,200 deferred revenue, but you want to split it throughout the period as 100 rupees. So 1st of July you identified 100 as the expense, and the 1st of August also identify. Now end of the August you have only 1,000 rupee on your deferred account. This is how it happened. So once you post it, you will get posted. But my topic is show you that setup. So now if I preview post and if I post this transaction comes like this way. But when I comes into the comes into the allow deferral posting to set up. So I'll set up, I want to control these transactions up to 31st March, which means me, for myself or my users, cannot post any transaction, deferral transaction after 31st December, because it can be your end of your accounting period. So let's see whether this will work or not. It gets saved. Now you set up the control. You can't post transaction, deferral transaction after 31st December. Let's see. Let's preview the invoice. So before, when we try to preview the invoice, we got 28 double entries. Let's see what will happen. Yes, once I post it, the system gives me error, which is 1st of January 2025 is not within the range of posting dates for deferral for your company. Check use setup for allow deferral posting date. So, which means as you block that in the general ledger setup, you cannot post transactions. So let's see another. So let's see another one. So you want to control that setup, right? 31st March 2023. So if you can put the control for this date, it got saved. Now again, let's see. Let's try to preview this transaction. Now system show you can't post transaction for from 1st of April 2024 onward, because we have set up it here. This is how the deferral posting from and deferral posting to fields work. I think it's kind of tricky field and tricky process to identify, because in order to identify this kind of things, you need to have some sort of strong accounting idea, accounting understanding, and accounting knowledge, because always ERP consultants must need to have accounting knowledge. However, this is how this allow deferral posting and allow deferral posting to period works. So before the end this video, before end the discussion, I would like to invite you all to my YouTube channel. I have separate categorized the Dynamics 365 Business Central fields and the setup. So till meet up the next video. So stay safe. Thank you very much.